help me break down everything we just saw are Lucy O'Brien, Max Scoville, and Mark Medina. Welcome back, friend.
I see you.
What happened to Max?
I'm on the Frontiers of Pandora.
On brand.
Max got terribly sick during that show. Remember, you can find all of our Summer of Gaming coverage pretty much everywhere on IGN, YouTube, across social media, even on your smart TV. And for even more, check out E3's online portal featuring virtual booths, articles, videos, and more. Also, want to give a shout out to Jada in the chat. If you're in the chat, go show some love to Jada. Okay, in just a few minutes, we have an interview with the developers behind Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope, one of the biggest surprises of the show today. But even bigger than that is Max Scoville dressed up as Nithrithriu, one of the famous characters you all remember from 2001, maybe 2011's biggest movie, Avatar: Redemption of the Cat. He's back.
They're making an Avatar game. They're actually doing it. Dude, I honestly didn't think this was going to happen. I thought they were going to cancel this or something. This is wild. I mean, I guess they're on track to actually put that freaking movie out next year. And there's going to be a game to go with it, which, if you think about it, we have no idea what kind of game this is exactly. I'm guessing it's going to be one of those kind of persistent games as a service division type things because A, Ubisoft loves that, but
right.
B, if you're going to be dropping a new movie sequel every 2 years, that actually really supports that model. You know, you're like, oh, get the exclusive skin of the new villain from Avatar 4 by logging into your, whatever account. But yeah, I mean, it looks gorgeous. They're showing off new Snowdrop footage. It's obviously, it's a next-gen Ubisoft gameplay demo like we always get, and which never, the final finished product never looks quite as good. But, it's a cool proof of concept. Like, so it's easy to crap on Avatar. Like, everyone does it, It's because it's a weird movie about cats with ponytails who, like, ride these weird seahorse things. And it came out, when we were still in college or whatever. But
I think we should go easy on the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah, stop bullying that monolithic entity. No, it is, like, all jokes aside, like, one thing about it is that it is extremely video gamey. Like, it is, you say like a movie is like toyetic. I feel like in this case, like, it is so built to be an open world game. Like, there's all these weird ass animals running around, and then there's bad guys who have mech suits and different weapons and helicopters, and you can also hijack a pterodactyl. Like, if they just if they like reskinned a Far Cry with giant cat people and mech suits, I'd be kind of into that. But I'm guessing they're going to be doing something a little more ambitious than that. But we haven't seen anything more than like set photos and maybe concept art from the Avatar sequels, which is kind of crazy considering how often, everything leaks. So this is kind of cool to just see signs of life at the very least.
Max, which of your favorite, specifically by name, characters from the Avatar film do you want to see in this game?
I hope the tree is back. I love that big tree that they all go inside and hold hands or whatever they do.
Didn't they burn it down?
I hope this is a prequel and the tree is still alive, that they haven't burned it down yet.
Okay, fair enough. And it's also going to have mechs and robots, which is great. You're right. It does have a lot of video game stuff in it. You know what? I'll give this game a chance. In 2048, when this comes out and I'm 190 years old, I will play the Avatar video game Frontiers of Pandora. It's going to be a really good time. In the meantime, between now and 2022, we will have another game to play. That is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It was leaked earlier this morning by Nintendo themselves. You are still looking at a little bit of Avatar stuff right now, but we will check out some more gameplay in just a second. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is the sequel to 2017's, one of the best-selling games on Switch. It's one of the only times we've ever seen really Nintendo sort of relinquish the reins of what other the studios were allowed to do with the Mario franchise and licenses. They let them have guns. And this is interesting because this one is actually going into space. It's going after the sort of like Super Mario Galaxy aesthetic. We've got the Lumas here in bizarre handmade sandbag form, and then in Rabbid form, which is very, very scary. This one seems to be opening up a lot in terms of gameplay. You'll be able to sort of like travel planetarily. And also it doesn't seem like it's as grid based. When it popped into some gameplay, it seems a little bit more opened up, a little more open-ended. So I'm wondering if they're moving away from the sort of like kind of specific locked in strategy approach to make something that's a little more action oriented. What do you guys think about this?
I hope not. Like,
Yeah.
I loved the grid sort of gameplay. I mean, I was not a big XCOM person, and this was kind of my introduction to the XCOM style of gameplay. It was extremely accessible.
strategy in a different kind of way. You know, there's an old PS2 game called Ark the Lad where it kind of was like this, where you kind of had this free circle to move around, and everybody's weapons had this like set way that they would hit, right? And so you see in the footage, you see her throw her boomerang and it hits, you know, two different people. So instead of it being this like, oh, I'm behind cover, so you have a chance to hit me or a chance to not, it's going to be more about like moving and trying to find the perfect place to stand to maximize how well your weapon kind of goes. Because I bet, you know, they're not showing it, but I bet you're going to see like a line come out of her. And so that's where you're going to try to position yourself to try to do as much damage as you can, versus just everything being a numbers game. I actually see this as a bit more, you know, the other one is the first game gets very, very hard.
Yeah,
it gets very
it does.
hard, just like XCOM does. And so I see this as a little bit more approachable. I also noticed that when they're running around, that's more in 3D, where in the first game, even outside of the battles, it was still very top down, and you were basically still more or less on a grid. This looks more 3D behind the person, kind of run around it. I loved everything I saw. As someone who loved the first game, this game looks awesome.
You know, like on paper, it's funny. The first game leaked as well before of its ahead of its reveal, and everyone was like, you know, kind of scoffed at it. But it was super fun. It was an awesome game, and the sequel looks even better. Mark, tell me about Rainbow Six Extraction. Is this what players want with the Rainbow Six franchise? This seems like an interesting new take.
It definitely seems like it's something that. It seems like a game mode to me, and apparently it was a game mode back a few years ago, and they were like, "Hey, we're just gonna make a whole game about this." I don't know if it's for Rainbow Six Siege players. I think it's more for people who have thought, "Hey, Rainbow Six Siege looks cool, but I would just get trounced," and so now I'm playing against, you know, basically bots when it comes to the aliens. I think it could be a draw to try to get people like me in. I don't know if I don't know. It looks cool, but I don't know if it's something I would want. I'm more of a Left 4 Dead kind of, you know, Back 4 Blood, like, let's just kill some aliens. And this is very like destructible environments and planning and putting cameras in. And
it's a weird move, right? Because like I feel like people who love Rainbow Six Siege are still playing it after 6 years, and they're continuing to support it. And then people who would, you know, perk up their, you know, eyebrows or whatever, why not just make a new IP entirely? Like Ubisoft is clearly putting a lot of eggs in their Tom Clancy basket, but like, I don't know. This is an odd choice. It doesn't look particularly terrible, but it also doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look, you know, mind blowing or anything. It's definitely one of those like, who is this for kind of products.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with all of you. We are excited to keep talking about all things Ubisoft, and we've got a deep dive into Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. We are actually talking to the developers about that. But before we do, we're going to take a very quick break, so stick around because more Summer of Gaming will continue on right after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming is powered by Duracell Optimum. All summer long, we're bringing you the game announcements, developer interviews, and all the demos you care about. So get comfortable and get ready to play. Upgrade your Logitech mouse with Duracell Optimum batteries today.